Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to do an installation of the RAM mount X grip on a 2018 Ninja 1000, and I believe this should be the same process as for earlier versions of the Ninja 1000 or the Z1000SX. So real quick, what comes in the box? You get the RAM mount itself. This is the X grip. It has a short connecting arm, and then this is the stem mount. This is a tether that you can use to secure the phone onto this, but with all my experience of using these, I've never felt the need to use a tether. There's an assortment of washers and the screw that mounts the stem mount. This is the rubber plug, and I'll show you how you end up using this. You cut a section out of this to fit the part of the stem where you're inserting it. This is the part that goes on the bottom of that rubber plug. And there's some really good videos. Actually, RAM Mount has their own video on an installation that walks through a conventional installation. It's going to be a little bit different on the Ninja. You get some documentation and super glue, and the super glue is just to make sure these rubber pads, you can glue them onto the metal so that they stay on securely. Again, it's not a thing that I've ever felt the need to use. So we'll go over to the bike, and I'll walk you through how to get this thing installed on the Ninja 1000. Alright, so here on the Ninja 1000, one thing that's a little bit unusual about this setup versus many other stem mounts is that rather than having a big open hole, this actually has an Allen key. So you pull this plastic plug out, and then in here there's a hole for a 12 millimeter Allen key. And fortunately, in the toolkit for this bike, you'll find a massive 12 millimeter Allen key. So I've already kind of worked this loose. I was able to actually break it free with the included wrench. I didn't need to use a bigger tool. But you just loosen that up. And it comes right out. Now, the reason that we're doing something different with this is typically if you just have an open hole like this, it's real easy to mount that rubber plug in there. But in this one, there's just a shallow interface for the Allen key, and then it opens up into a cylinder underneath. And this is actually where we're going to mount the rubber plug. Alright, so what we're going to do next is take this is the rubber plug, and typically what you would do is you stick this in, and then wherever it stops, you mark that off, and then cut from there to an inch down, and then you use that to make a plug. But like I said, we're going to make a plug that fits down in this bottom section. So to do that, this upper piece is too big, so we're just going to cut this off right up here at the top. Alright, so this took some experimentation too, and I kind of had to change the way I was going to do this. So what I've settled on is I took from the large rubber piece, from the widest end, I cut off a very thin slice of rubber. You can see it right here. And this is basically just like a thin rubber washer. Then I took the second largest of these plastic nut holding washers, which fits perfectly inside of the metal here. I put that on, and then I'm using the bolt that it comes with and a large washer just so that the bolt doesn't pull through. And I'm tightening this bolt, and it's pulling this rubber piece in. So what I'm hoping happens is this will secure it in place. And it looks like this is working. You can see it's pulling the rubber, or pulling the plastic in, and it's getting stuck around that rubber. Looks like some of this rubber's coming off. That's okay. Now what I should be able to do, I'm sorry for the bad light here, is take this bolt out. Alright, so now the only issue that we have is we've got the plastic piece in there, but this brass nut's going to fall out. So what I'm going to do is use some of the super glue for the rubber feet, put it in here, and hopefully this will hold the brass nut in. Super glue on my fingers. Alright, seems like it should work. I don't think that's going to fall out. So we'll put this back in the bike and then tighten down the ram mount. Alright, so now that we've got the plastic washer in there, it's held in place. The brass nut has been super glued in, so it's not going to fall out. Put everything back together, put the big washer back on. Thread this in. And make sure when you tighten this that you don't put the Allen wrench in so far that you push out your plug. So now we're going to install the base of the ram mount, or the stem mount. And you want to make sure that we don't push this in so far that we push anything out. And then we'll make sure it's centered before we get it all locked down. Alright, that's nice and solid. We'll get this position just like that. Alright, and that's that. And then you just put your phone in there. You can also orient this, if you want your phone in a portrait position. I prefer mine in the landscape. So there you go. That's how you install the RAM stem mount on a 2018 Ninja 1000. Thanks for watching.